G'day everyone. I decided to do a video of a Reelman drill. Here it is. It's a Bosch GSB 16RE Professional. Oh come on, no way. Look, this is a good drill. It's modern, it's got one of those grippy fancy chucks, which by the way are about half as good as everyone says they are, because they absolutely shred your drill bits if they happen to stick. Great drill, not interested. If you want a modern drill, buy a Bosch. It's probably not a bad choice, but they are cheaply made like every other bloody power tool. This is a Reelman drill. Not that. That is a Reelman plastic for tradesmen that keep them for 2 minutes and thrash them and throw them out when they die. This is a drill that you're going to have for the rest of your life if you look after it properly. This is, as far as I'm concerned, what I'd consider to be a work of art. I've got a couple of big drills. I've got a Shure drill and I got this drill. This is a 3/8 inch Wolf heavy duty drill. Type number is NW3CE. Made by Wolf Electric Tools Limited, London, WS. Someone from England, please fill me in. Being an Aussie, never actually been there. I don't actually know where that is. I apologise. No, maybe it's, I don't know, West Suffolk or something. Be fascinated to know. Anyway, no load speed, 750 RPM, nice and slow. This drill has a couple of features that I really like. One, it doesn't have a Jacobs chuck. I'm sure that everybody loves Jacobs chucks, and yes, they're really good chucks, blah blah blah. I'm not really a great fan of Jacobs chucks. The new ones are okay, but they tear the crap out of your drill bits, those fancy grip chucks, the keyless ones. This is a really big, heavy chuck, considering it only goes up to 3/8 of an inch. It's an English chuck. It is CVA brand chuck. I've cleaned it up a bit, of course. This is a full ball bearing race drill. It is, as far as I'm concerned, about 30 years ahead of its time. It's quite heavy. Remember when you could access brushes from the outside and it was a decent quality drill instead of a plastic piece of crap? Look, we got brush holders with Bakelite brush caps. Just as a footnote, if you're going to service brushes in something like this, use a screwdriver that you've bought, ground down so the tip's as wide as the slot there, as thick as the slot I should say, and as wide, because otherwise you'll break the Bakelite. That's why these, excuse me, ones are a bit thick. Now the cord here, I like to buy heavy duty extension leads. Not a very long cord. I suppose it's, it's probably about 3 metres long. It's got a very crappy old plug top. No, the plug top's not legal these days because it's supposed to have insulated prongs, so you can't, God knows how, but zack yourself. A really heavy key. The key's actually brand new. The key I got from Mitre 10. Yeah, it's just fitted straight in the chuck. So it's not a very long cord, as you can see, but do not put a long cord on a drill. It's a pain in the ass because you've got to, coil it up, and it's just a nuisance. I've done it before. I ended up chopping it in half. So anyway, this drill. Now this is what makes me annoyed about the way people think these days. Have a guess where I got this nice old drill from. No, not eBay. I didn't pay $100 for it, even though I wouldn't sell it for less. This drill came from the ground at the tip in Benalla, right? The Benalla rural city does not sell any items they get in at the tip. They are scrapped. They do not sell them, and you cannot offer them money. You can't take them. Get in trouble if you do. This is why the world's choking on its own filth, everyone. Because instead of recycling drills that had nearly nothing wrong with them, this drill is probably about 50 years old. Maybe it's 50 or 60 years old, I guess, and that's what the Motor Rewinder in Benalla said. I took it to the Motor Rewinder. Yes, I'm guilty of, there's nothing wrong with the motor. It ran fine, but I had the 2 motor bearings replaced. the one in that end and the one in this end. And the reason I did that is because they were open bearings, because this is an old enough drill that it was made before they had plastic. They had Bakelite, they didn't have plastic, or neoprene sealed for life bearings. Now, I don't really like open bearings in motors because, like ball bearings, because they end up full of crap and they die, So that's all that was done to it. The brush, I think the brushes I had them done too. So for $60, I know some people are saying, why didn't you do it yourself? You must have this. Yeah, look, okay, I could do it myself. But to be honest, for $60, I look at that as a bargain, because I really couldn't be screwed pulling this thing right down and to bits. And look, they repacked the gearbox completely with new grease. They put 2 new bearing races in it. They put a cord, a cable grommet or protector, whatever you like to call it, which was actually, it's a new one, it's not a recycled cable grommet. They wouldn't send it out without that there. They mega tested it, so it's not going down to earth or short or anything. So it's a really nice old drill, and people throw these things out. If you've got a nice old drill and it's done a switch, or switches, you're kind of in trouble if you've done one, but you could probably almost, you could probably find a switch for it, even if you had to adapt one, because they were a pretty generic sort of thing, the switches. But if you've got one that's done an armature or field windings, consider getting it rewound, because if you pay $150 to get the thing rewound or whatever, what would you pay for a really good drill? Well, if you buy something like a DeWalt or a Hitachi drill, it could be $500 for a good drill. Are they as good as these? Look, I know I'm going to offend some people, but as far as I'm concerned, unequivocally no way. Anything modern is a piece of crap as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what brand it is, whether it's some Metabo thing that you paid $700 or $800 for. Old drills are better. The reason is they are solid. They made them to last forever. This drill, like the Motor Rewinder said, not just his opinion, by the way, it'll probably only last another 50 years. I've spoken to several motor rewinders over the years, and they still get in electric motors from 1900s and stuff, ones that are over 100 years old. They made them the best old stuff. So I know I'm crapping on a bit too much, but it makes me angry that we scrap things like this, because there's nothing wrong with it. It needed a service. I mean, would you rather a plastic drill in a plastic case that's going to die after a few years? 5 years is not okay. It's not a good lifespan. Now, the reason why I'm crapping on is because there seems to be this strange misconception nowadays that 5 years is a good run or out of a tool. 5 years is a pathetic run out of a tool. It's pence. I mean, drills should last for 30 years. There's no reason why you can't get 30 years out of a drill, and that's with everyday use. I've got ex-tradesman drills that have bronze bushes and they got no play in them, or not much. So there's no reason why a drill shouldn't last your whole life. I mean, if you've got to do bronze bushes or bearings in this case, like ball bearings in this case, well, you do them. They're actually inexpensive to do, and your drill will go forever. I mean, look, what I'm saying is, if you're at the tip and you're dropping off some scrap metal, or the scrap metal yard, and you happen to see a nice old drill or a nice old tool, ask them if you can have it. If you're at the tip, just put it in the boot. Make sure they don't see you do it, but because they do frown upon you doing that. This is what we've come to. People at tips, councils, whatever, it's only the tip. So, they get it all for free. I'm sure they can spare an old power tool, but chuck it in your boot. You're doing the environment a favour by, look, scrap metal's not a good thing. I mean, it's good if it's a piece of shit that should be melted down and made into an XL or something, but scrapping things that work is a terrible idea. We should be reusing them. There's no reason why we can't reuse old stuff. Things that have nearly nothing wrong are being thrown out because people want new stuff. It's garbage. It's pathetic. I mean, this is what's poisoning the world, everyone. Scrapping good machinery for new stuff because we got to have new stuff. So anyway, enough crapping on about, tools and the environment and all the other boring shit that you don't want to hear about. That's just my opinion. I don't really care if it's a liked opinion. Here's why I can plug this drill in and run it, even though it's bloody late at night here. It's 4:30 in the morning. This drill actually doesn't make much noise, and the only thing that's going to screw me is if the dog does, because she doesn't like tools. But this is what I call a nice old drill. If anyone's got old power tools like this, I'd be really interested to know. Post a response video. Look, I like old tools. I think they're made the best, and yeah, this thing's got a really nice sound to it. Even to the point where the gears in this aren't straight cut gears. They're helical cut gears. So they don't make much noise. That's why the gearbox in this is so quiet. A lot of modern drills have got helical cut gears too, but that's not impressive because they're not old. And by the way, a lot of drills use fibre gears, so one day you're using a spade bit or a hole saw or something, crack! Guess what? You got no bloody chuck turning around. Guess why? Because your gears are screwed. So you go and, go to your Ryobi website or whatever crappy drill you've got, or even expensive drills too these days, and you can buy the part, but it's $20 or $30 to get it, or $50 or whatever plus your postage. New stuff's not a bargain. eBay an old drill for $20, get new bushers or bearings, get it serviced. If it costs you $100, you probably got the equivalent of a $600 drill for cheap. And it'll last you forever. And they come with really cool old nameplates. I mean, they riveted this old nameplate on. It's not like a new drill that's got a friggin' sticker that, they didn't even put any artwork into it. So anyway, this is one of a few videos I'm going to do about my tools, why I like them, why I think they're a good idea to buy. I'm sure there's people screaming and punching their computer screens saying, "You're a dickhead, you don't know what you're talking about, new stuff's great." New stuff's fine. I'm not bagging new stuff outright, I'm just saying that it's not worth their while making good tools these days. And even tradesmen, they buy crappy tools because, if they blow up they don't fix them. But fine, but it's false economy, because at the end of the day you get tools that don't last. And is that a good way to treat the environment? Spend, a little bit more energy to make the drill, but make a drill that's going to last you for 50 years, not a drill that's going to last for 2 minutes. Plastic crap is poisoning the earth. If you want to save the earth, well-made power tools that last a lifetime. They should be fixed. They shouldn't be chucked in the rubbish bin. New drills that blow up, like even this thing. Yeah, I do like it, and I'm not bagging it. I'm just saying that if the windings in the motor go, it's not going to be worth fixing, because it's not. I mean, you can buy another drill for a couple of $100 or less, and you wouldn't rewind it. A thing like this, like an old Sher drill or the old metal cased skill Sher drills before they started making plastic, it's just, they're a good tool. They last forever. They're made well. This thing, it's got power, but believe you me, just because it's not a 2,000 watt stupid thing like new drills are, this thing's got power through reduction gearbox and, yeah, just a well-made motor. So anyway, thanks for watching and listening to me crap on about old tools. Yeah, have a good, morning here at the moment.